to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where today we continue our stretch of wonderful films ranging from 1976 to 2016 with our 1996 entry, Romeo and Juliet. Story never existed before that year. Fun fact, this was the first Romeo and Juliet story ever told. This is the origin. Bill Shakespeare burst onto the scene with a hit in 1996. It came out November 1st, 1996, and it was received so well that you would think it was timeless. It existed for long eons before that, but now, of course, it was adapted from the work by William Shakespeare for the screen by Craig Pearce and Baz Luhrmann. It is directed by Baz Luhrmann. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. How many, just out of curiosity, when it comes to film adaptations, how many Shakespeare movies have you seen? Is this the only one?
Oh my gosh. Now that that's hit me, I think we did. Was there the tragedy of Macbeth? Was there a Macbeth
We never
movie
covered
played?
that. We never covered that.
But I think a movie was shown.
Yeah, Tragedy of Macbeth with Denzel.
Is that? I don't remember Denzel being. I remember being incredibly out of the movie. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to it, so I would not have remembered it. But that would have been probably the only Shakespearean movie ever.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just missing something very, very
Well,
large.
there are the one-to-one adaptations where they are literally writing Shakespeare dialogue, and then there are the more loose adaptations like My Own Private Idaho with Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix, which I believe is an adaptation of Henry IV, and there's all sorts of good shit out there. But this was my first one-to-one Shakespeare adaptation I ever watched, and that was a couple years ago. And there's a lot of good ones out there, but Baz Luhrmann modernizing it, that is one of the more interesting touches this movie has as an adaptation, is going, let's take that dialogue, and we're just going to drop you into this fantastical version of the 90s in fair Verona, where the story taketh place. And man, I absolutely love it, because Baz Luhrmann is a director that most people either fucking love, me, or they fucking hate, not me. I love Luhrmann, and one movie that you've definitely seen by him, one movie that we've definitely covered by him, The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
Another great literary adaptation, Elvis, a couple years back with Austin Butler. He's got some good stuff under his belt, and I really, really enjoy Baz. But how did you feel about this movie as your first Shakespeare adaptation?
I don't know. I'm actually, I think, on the fence on this one. And I don't know if it is me, not like the dialogue. It's rough for me.
It's hard to
I'm not
access.
going to lie. It's just sometimes they're speaking a foreign language, which it is just a very dead language. We don't talk like that anymore. But like, was every single line from this a one-to-one out of the adaptation?
I'm fairly certain, yes.
Yeah. And I think because of that was the hardest barrier to overcome. And I don't really think I ever truly did overcome it. But the like modernizing of it, or the style, I loved that. Or the fact that it's not swords and armor and back in time. It's like, no, we got guns, we got lowriders, we got convertibles. But speaking the same way. So I thought that was really cool. But I understood, I guess, what was shown to me, I visually very easily what's happening. I could understand, there.
Right.
But I think like dialogue wise, was the only difficult part of the movie.
Oh, and that's understandable. I think one thing that this movie did for me, because I'd read Shakespeare, obviously in school, and I'd even taken a pass at it in my own free time, which if you're not ready for if you don't know what you're reading, it's pointless to read it. Like Shakespeare generally should be performed. Like once you understand the way it is performed, it is easier to read, which is what makes performing it so impressive. Like that you understand what emotions are meant to be portrayed during a speech that some would find completely nonsensical and have no idea what it means. I find that incredible. And that's why whenever there's a couple of moments with Leo specifically, and not just Leo, Harold Perrineau as Mercutio. That was another one of my favorites. John Leguizamo as Tybalt. Claire Danes as Juliet, of course. There's a lot of just really, really impeccable, that is never how I would have read it moments. You know what I'm saying? There's iconic lines from front to back that you've heard. And, whether that is in other media, if that's, whatever it may be. Whenever Mercutio, dying, bleeding, yells, "A plague, oh both your houses, a plague, oh both your houses." It fucking hits me, man. I love that scene. And then whenever Romeo is about to gun down Tybalt, that whole scene, that's my favorite scene of the movie. That is so fucking good. Oh, I love it.
I think Mercutio's death, I think that's my favorite part of the movie. That's like this, everything's coming to a crux. And I think Shakespeare is a bit like you got to be in the club, or you kind of got to understand a little bit. If I didn't know the story of Romeo and Juliet before coming into this, I think it would have been a lot more difficult. But I mean, I guess the visuals are there. It would have, I think it's somewhat easy to understand. But like knowing the tragedy that's coming and knowing, the calm before the storm, all of that, like did add to it. And that, like, the plague upon, or like the fact, Romeo just not wanting to kill, or walking up and talking instead, and just I thought that was I didn't come, like, no tears. I didn't cry. Because.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
And I wonder if it is just because I knew what was coming, like. But the Mercutio's part was like,
that was new to you.
Yeah. And I knew the big beats of Romeo and Juliet, but not all of the interplay or how to get there. So,
star-crossed lovers, they die. That's enough.
Yeah.
And that one of them kills them.
Of how we say how they do so.
Yes, exactly.
Drink yellow juice or drink blue juice. I think maybe
we are on TikTok Live, and we may be restricted if we are much more explicit in our explanation of Romeo and Juliet's demise. But I mean, there's just. John Leguizamo is such an incredible actor, and the run that he went on in the 90s is unbelievable. The fact that this was just a couple years following Tu Wong Fu, which we just covered a few weeks ago, is incredible. He immediately bursts onto the scene and is just so fucking good from the jump. Whenever he goes, "Peace, peace."
Yeah.
I hate the word, as I hate hell. All Montagues and thee. Fuck yes. I love it.
I'm not the beginning, the editing, the kind of very fast paced, the
Baz Luhrmann, baby.
Boom, boom, boom. I was a little uncomfortable at first, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Let me lock in, But then like Leo's on screen, and then it's just like, or like it's like that the beach, and then like the was it like a stage, but like the back of it was like out, so like it was just this. But I feel like there was also a like circular rock formation, maybe, or is that just the stage the whole time? That like we see in that kind of.
I think it's just the stage, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, no, like, and then it did get beautiful at times. It wasn't always this movie. Fast smash cut, and I think it was largely dependent on who was on screen, like the energy of the character dictated the like cinematography style.
Yeah,
and I did like that. So that was actually like a really cool aspect at first that I was kind of like, eesh, I don't know if I like this editing style, but then how it was like, whenever it's
very brash. It is. It's very brash. And again, that is the kind of stuff that makes Baz Luhrmann a either you love him or you hate him guy. And I do think that this is much more unrefined than the kind of style you find later on in Great Gatsby and then even later in Elvis. Just a few touch points that I know we've both seen. He has done a lot of stuff in between there, but those do feel like the essential markers. I mean, we're talking 90s, early 10s, early 20s. These are 15 years apart, 10 years apart. Like it's a long career. And I think that The Great Gatsby is the most well-rounded version of his style. I think Elvis, he gets a little bit back towards this, which isn't a bad thing to me. I enjoy that. But I think Great Gatsby is kind of the height of his, like, I get to do whatever the fuck I want powers, you know what I'm saying? And I think he really takes advantage of them. But here, I think he's also doing a lot of seeing what he can get away with. And I mean, opening up with a scene like that,
yeah,
you're asking a lot of your audience, you know? You are going, yep, this is a modern adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. This is what we are doing. Lock in or get the fuck out, you know? And I really respect the shit out of that. Ah, man. I'm that's what's amazing too, is that we also recently discussed At Eternity's Gate, which was Willem Dafoe as Vincent van Gogh, and there's a scene whenever he is reading Shakespeare and they ask him, a barmaid asks him, you know, what are you reading? You know, and it's Shakespeare, and she goes, I'm not much for Shakespeare, I don't understand him. And she's like, I kind of like that I don't understand him. And she says, you know, he's like, I kind of like that I don't understand him. I enjoy the mystery. That's what I like. So I really, really fuck with the fact that's kind of the mode I enter whenever I'm watching this movie. And whenever I'm watching any Shakespeare adaptation, because I also recently rewatched for the first time with new, I don't know, knowledge. They're getting a fucking robbing behind me right now, stealing shit off my walls. But the Much Ado About Nothing. It's another Shakespeare adaptation. It's by Kenneth Branagh, who you are overly familiar with through various things. He directed it. He's done a few Shakespeare adaptations in his time. And that has Denzel, Keanu Reeves, Kenneth Branagh. It's a stacked cast. Emma Thompson, just going toe to toe. And I love that movie for the same reasons I love this movie, but comparatively, it is so much more boring because it's period accurate. It's just telling the story. And, you know, it's more of a comedy. It's like a quintessential, laid the groundwork for romantic comedies for fucking centuries thereafter. And this is obviously a tragedy, much more a tragedy. So there's a very different approach that you're going to take. But God, I think that what I love about this movie so much is the swing, just having the balls to do it. And I think that is, I find that deeply admirable.
I kind of wasn't a believer in it. The whole, like, I'm like, at some point it's going to end. Or like, we're going to hear Leo just go, all right, when are we going? Or like just speaking in 90s talk, I guess, or whatever. But like, so I didn't think it was going to be the whole time. But yeah, the balls to do that is kind of insane. And I think maybe the disconnect that I kind of have is that this is much more meant for a play, and that like there's the corniness of the portrayal in the same sense that like a superhero movie can be taken very seriously, but there's still some corny aspect to it that's like what you're kind of after, though, even though people say the cheese or the corn is not good, but it's like, nah, it's what you're after. But I think this feels a little different. Like at certain points it really, really worked and it like elevated the movie, but then at other points, like, this sounds very diminishing of the movie, but like it almost felt YouTube sketchy at points. And specifically whenever it wasn't Romeo, it was just kind of the side characters, or whenever the brutes were just going at it. It was kind of it did feel not Hollywood,
Yeah.
I guess.
And
just,
that is a filmmaking thing too. So like, and that is ultimately the make or breaking point of this movie, is because you're not going to have issue with Shakespeare. You know, if you have issue with Shakespeare, it's like,
yeah, the writer
it's a pure it is just a pure taste thing. You know, it is just like, I don't like Shakespeare. And if you don't like Shakespeare, you're obviously not going to fucking like this movie. So if you can clear yourself of that barrier, which is like, I'm open to the concept of enjoying Shakespeare, I want to enjoy Shakespeare, Baz Luhrmann demands a lot of you to get through this movie anyway. Because again, like I said, Baz Luhrmann is kind of a guy that is a love him or hate him sort of director. And he's divisive. And, you know, like, again, to connect it back to the Elvis movie from a couple years ago, people who, like, my grandparents watched Elvis, the Elvis movie from 2022, and were like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. It's insane. It's all over the place. You know, like, the way that Baz Luhrmann makes movies, they're like, I mean, I liked Austin Butler as Elvis. He's good as Elvis, but like, beyond that, you know, like, what's going on here? It's just, it's a lot overwhelming your senses. And I think that's kind of what Baz Luhrmann sets out to do, in a way, in a fashion, is bombard you with music and sound and editing and colors, and just, he's throwing everything at the wall, and not just seeing what sticks, but like making it stick. It's a willful thing. He's like, I am going to make this work. And for some people it will, and for a lot of other people it won't. The fact that this guy managed to keep making movies is incredible. He did also do Moulin Rouge in 2001. Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman, another great musical there. So he's done a lot. And I mean, like, he gets, because his swings are that big, and because he is so dedicated to his art, his version of filmmaking, the Academy fucks with Baz Luhrmann. You know, I don't know that he's won much, but he has been nominated for Best Picture multiple times. He's been nominated for Best Director. His movies get recognized, and I think it is just because of that originality point goes a long, long way for me and for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think, like, a play, before movies were even a thing, if you're going to see a play back in the day of Romeo and Juliet, after the story's already grand and big, you're not really seeing it for the story, but, like, I think maybe for the performers, or, like, you kind of want to see how well the people in the play can do. And I think, like,
that is
like,
the
saying,
point of a play.
Yeah, like, but I mean, like, how
and I didn't mean to sound like I was dismissing you, but like, I like
I like Austin Butler and Elvis, but you know, not much other than that. But that's kind of like not the point of Elvis, I don't think, but maybe more here of like, this is a story told many, many times. So it's like, okay, one, let's let the performers show off, and everyone is doing phenomenal, or you're costumed up. They're all acting, even though in a modern sense, but very old characters. I mean, and then in the director's seat, he does just make it as original as he can. So like, I think I'm totally in love with like the concept of this movie. Like I know,
but the execution leaves you wanting.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think like maybe how original it was. I thought there might be, I don't know, some twist on the story or some like something there. Like I still haven't seen The Odyssey, but like I am sort of expecting there to be some Nolan something to it. And I don't know what that is. It could just be the grandness of it or something like that. But I kind of, coming into this, like I knew it was quite the take on Romeo and Juliet. So I kind of had that background kind of thought as well, a little bit. And I, maybe the way the poison, or was, how the, fake death or how it was all done.
that is a part of the story that just notoriously I think is fucking hilarious. Like, I obviously it's devastating, and it like on paper, and again, story beat for beat wise, it is deeply romantic to go, I can't live without you, and this is my lot. If you're dead, I'm dead. The way that this movie adapts that scene, Juliet, speak the fuck up. Speak the fuck up. My man's about to die. My man's about to kill him. My man's about to do something.
And was it more her, the potion was still affecting her and she couldn't like fully wake up?
I think that's what they're trying to say. I think that's what they're trying to get at.
I think it's more like, are you really? Like,
are you really about that?
You're
really about that?
Really? Like, if you are, dang. I mean, that's true love. So
when she comes to, she's like, damn, you drank all the poison, you ain't leave none for me?
Mm-hmm. And like, oh my God, I thought the kiss, that whenever she kissed him after, I thought that was how she was going to
smooth off.
And then she was just like, no. And then she started like, wasn't getting queasy. And I'm like, oh wait. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, uh-oh. And yeah, just kaboom.
Smooth off.
And so, there were shock moments, or like, I just never quite cried when I kind of expected to in a with the style.
And I do think that is the movie keeping you at arm's length to a point, and again, the overexposure that we have a few centuries removed from the original telling of this story automatically makes it difficult to access on a level that is anything more than surface as far as the emotionality of it is concerned. I think that like, we've seen Romeo and Juliet done time and again. We've watched tragic romances, and that's the thing. What's incredible about this for Shakespeare is that it hadn't been done. That's insane. When it was original, it was absolute. It's timeless, and that's the amount of stories that this has gone on to inspire is unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the star-crossed lovers trope, while I'm sure had been conceived of, certainly never stuck like it did after or prior to Romeo and Juliet. So like, that's why I'm like, I think that it is just a time removed thing. I also think we've had this discussion as it pertains to foreign film also, which is that sometimes you are so seared into understanding that you don't allow yourself to feel everything. You can't blink. You can't cry because then you won't be able to see. You won't be able to read. So like, while I have cried at a few foreign films, they've got to really fucking get me there first watch in order for me to be willing to break down during a foreign film. Because I don't want to miss anything. That's the other thing too, is that like, it's not because I'm like, I'm not going to let myself cry. No, it's because they are still talking and I don't know what they're saying, and that's really important. But this is one of those things where it might as well be in a different language, it's not a foreign film. And while we do understand it to a point, there are lines that are inaccessible without the context of what they are doing. Sorry,
go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I texted you, and I used thou, all of the Shakespearean words, or not. They're not Shakespearean words, but just Old English.
Yeah, Old English.
I butchered it. I butchered it completely, and it's like so. Yeah, it was kind of like that kind of other mode switch of like reading subtitles, where like you're kind of reading first and then absorbing the movie second. Was there a little bit, but. Knowing the story did help though, or like it could like there were times I could like okay, or this is beautiful, or like the fish tank or the bathroom whenever they see each other, incredible. Like her whenever she's dead in air quotes, like just her funeral, like the candles and like it was beautiful. So it was just that it could go from that very skilled, very traditional Hollywood cinematic, and then like boom, we're back in a kind of brash mode. But I think that was really only the beginning, the first kind of third ish of the movie, where it was kind of going back and forth, because then it largely kind of
and I think that there is an element where you're getting used to it also. I think that's really, really important. I think that the movie starts more extreme and then settles down to like kind of keep its audience. Like it's because it doesn't settle down a ton, but it settles down just enough for you to feel like you're not being thrust back and forth the whole with the choppy editing and the camera swings and all that good stuff. So I'm ultimately really, really forgiving of a lot of that stuff. And it again, this is not unlike any of Baz Luhrmann's other films. This is not a universally beloved movie. You know, like this is
Gatsby,
again.
Though? I don't feel like I get that with Gatsby. The crazy kind of like whenever he's driving in his car, maybe is kind of the only time that in my head that I can remember kind of the weird or fast paced. But other than that, Gatsby feels more just like not run of the mill movie, but it doesn't feel as
well.
Baz Luhrmann as this.
That's what's fascinating about this movie is that it makes Great Gatsby feel like a run of the mill movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Great Gatsby is far from. You watch Great Gatsby and follow it up with, I don't know, just another literary adaptation. You follow it up with Gerwig's Little Women. You know what I'm saying? Little Women is down the fucking middle compared to Gatsby. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a very, very different. Now, Little Women, Gerwig's Little Women is probably my favorite literary adaptation of all time. I think it is as perfect as an adaptation of a book as you can possibly find. But I like Gatsby a lot. Gatsby's kind of up there for me. And again, you're looking at another movie that is not universally beloved. It's one of those things where Baz Luhrmann, he's made a lot of stuff that his jukebox musical Moulin Rouge is probably his most universally liked movie. And even that wasn't universally loved.
Yeah, I gotta see that one. That one sounds. I mean, cast alone. I'm kind of.
Oh yeah,
I'm in on that. That's. I mean, man, Leguizamo. It feels so wrong. Even he says Leguizamo. You know, but I feel like he had to submit to it. But going from Julie Newmar to this, incredible. Like just the run for the podcast. You know, or like to get him like in both modes, and then we still have I'd say we have a drag, a man or drag.
Mercutio. Yeah.
I wonder what he would call himself, or she. Exactly. I don't know. It's up in the air.
Mercutio does have a certain gender fluidity, and there is definitely a certain tension.
Newmar.
This is post Newmar by about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Kind of feels a little. Honorary or like a little inspired or not inspired, but to like
little homage.
Thank you. There's the word. Oh my God, I knew there was a word for that. I'm struggling with even regular English right now, but no, it felt a little kind of like I honestly maybe my favorite character in the entire movie. The actor. Let's see, what's his real name? I know him from Lost. Yes, I know him mostly from Lost, and that was like probably the first good TV show that I watched. Not best by any means. Many greater shows came after that, but like the first TV show that I'm like, oh wait, this isn't just Disney,
shows can be
Disney Channel
like
or Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And he was like kind of one of the guys I was always like, get back to his story. His story is like, it's so good. And then kind of seeing him in this light, and man, when he wished that plague upon them, I was like, damn right. Like you do have that power.
Yep.
Like the gods instantly, they were like, storm. I bring it in. So I like that was, I loved that scene. I don't know. I was in it for that. I remember like I was leaning up and eager on there. And so yeah, there were moments that were really, really good. So I think I've come off that I really didn't enjoy or have a good time in this movie, but I think it was just it was such a shock, or it was
and I think that because I looked at this was apparently the second time I've watched this movie. I had no idea I hadn't watched it more than that. Because I remember I've grown very fond of this with time. When I checked my Letterboxd logs, I rated this a 3.5 when I watched it.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No.
It wasn't a 5. and I was like, I don't even know if this is a 4. And so like I was debating on it. I haven't put in my log because of that. Like I needed to talk
when I
through
watched it
first
for the first time, I rated it a 3.5, left it there, and called it good. And it is just like, I guess I haven't watched it since, and I've just over time thought higher and higher and higher of it. And I think it is because of how much I admire the ambition. You know, the bold risk taking that it does. And it decides that this is what the movie is, and you just have to get with it or get the fuck out of the way. And I love that about it. And again, like, to speak to Mercutio, I just, that is, in a movie full of really, really wonderful performances, Harold Perrineau is probably the star. And probably my favorite modernization of a character also, like making him feel like...
I'd imagine that wasn't what Shakespeare wrote in the play. And yeah, big swing, but man, I mean, I thought, it was just, he was the star of the party as well. Like, you know, kind of almost Babylon-esque. He's the spotlight, boom, dancing.
I think I'm fairly certain Damien Chazelle took profound influence from Baz Luhrmann making Babylon. I think specifically Gatsby, and again, it's Roaring Twenties, so there's only so much you know. True. That's how you're going to depict the Roaring Twenties. But I think
only got
that
4
this
years
also,
left, guys. We need to get it going. These 20s are lost. We have lost compared to the 1920s. We need to bring it back. And yeah, maybe it starts with. I guess the dressing style is still more modern here, but I think we need to bring the style back, and then maybe we do.
I think we even need to get back to whatever the fuck they've got going on here. This is crazy. This is out of pocket. Romeo of Romeo and Juliet is wearing a fucking Hawaiian beach shirt the whole movie.
Yep. And they make it like even a. Like, yeah, when his dad pulls it out of the closet behind his priest clothes, I don't know why that was so funny to me. I was just like, he is just wearing a Hawaiian shirt, like, this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, costume party. I guess he was in the armor. Looks sick. The shoulder pieces. I was like, I don't know. This armor that he was wearing, it was a costume party, but this looks like the armor that comes out of the blacksmithing club that, like, looks like the ones they make. And it's like... I don't know. I chainmail? No, though. I've learned. I've made one chainmail link, but then realizing that you have to stop and then actually link them together, then hammer them shut, and then do that the entire way, and then not mess up the pattern every single time. I'm okay to never make chainmail in my life, and that I can. I will appreciate it whenever I do see it. But yeah, no, I liked the excuse or having a costume party so that could get a little period piece a little bit. Because I did think originally that Juliet's mother was just cultural appropriating out the ass, like kind of Cleopatra, if that's what she was going for, don't know. But like, because I didn't know the costume party was coming. So I'm just like, this is just how the mother dresses. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, it was... it all came together really well in the costume party and seeing everything.
It's like Padme Amidala and the Phantom Menace in just full regalia that is obviously Chinese.
Yeah, and whenever you were talking about how, like, dang, whenever Shakespeare wrote this, it was original. Yeah. In 500 years, is there going to be a telling of who knows what Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, I don't know, something that was foundational at the time that, like, oh my god, took the world over by storm? Or, like, I don't know the true history of it. Did Romeo and Juliet become popular like after the fact, or what was it, like a hit right then and there, and like everyone had to go see the play of Romeo and Juliet? Or was it was it always a play? I mean, people didn't the literacy rates weren't great, but like, was it actually written first? Did you I have no idea the actual history.
The play, the play established itself as a legendary hit right away, becoming one of Shakespeare's most frequently revived works. It underwent periods of heavy adaptation in the 17th and 18th centuries, and by the 19th century, it was being produced on stage more often than Hamlet.
Okay. So yeah, an instant success. So yeah, like the modern equivalent would be, I guess, I don't know why I go to Lord of the Rings. It feels like Tolkien just kind of cooked, and he's the closest to Shakespeare, I feel like, that we have.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's kind of hard to say that.
But,
yeah, because Tolkien is a real master world builder. But, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dismiss Tolkien on any level. There will never be another, like, anyone we can possibly compare to Shakespeare, just because of how foundational his works were and how long ago they were written. You know, like, there isn't a single writer
aspect, though. I mean,
no,
he did come first
because natural ability doesn't come into play here.
Fair.
When it comes to art, especially this far removed, Shakespeare is so foundational and influential that Tolkien and George R.R. Martin and, fucking John Grisham and, anybody who wrote and writes, they were taught this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were taught Shakespeare. Shakespeare was foundational on a level that is so influential and so base level. It's not like we're born knowing Shakespeare, but we're born knowing Shakespeare existed. I'm not saying obviously not literally, but like, I don't know when I learned about Shakespeare. I just know Shakespeare existed. And obviously there's a lot of fun conspiracies about that too. But,
yes. He was not only a woman, not only actually 12 people, but also I don't know which one I fall into. I think he was probably just one dude, or man or woman, I don't know. But I think it was just a generational, not even generational, fucking, what's the equivalent of generational for all of human, just the GOAT, but better than, I don't know. That doesn't feel right. But yeah, I wonder, like, there's not really, you don't hear of many people before Shakespeare. But is that just because history wasn't written down as well and, things didn't spread as fast? I don't know. Like, who did Shakespeare learn from?
Well, and also it's European. It's a deeply European view of history. Like, there are almost certainly writers from other continents that had the ability but didn't have the exposure, and like that's been a problem forever. But let's see if we can get, obviously the Renaissance predates that, the fucking Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah, the fucking Odyssey.
Okay,
Geoffrey Chaucer, Christopher Marlowe, Miguel de Cervantes. I mean, like, Don Quixote, that's a foundational Western fiction epic that predates Shakespeare. So yeah, I mean, like, it's out there. That's what's cool, is that, like, Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales, which were, Knights of the Round Table and fucking, what's his fuck, the guy with the knight with the sword and the stone.
Excalibur is the sword, maybe, but King Andrew, maybe
King Arthur.
Thank you, Arthur. It was an A. Oh yeah, something like that. But I'm thinking, it's hard to beat the Bible of, like, most well-known adaptation, and to call it an adaptation is kind of wild. But, like, okay, you remove the Bible from the conversation. Is Romeo and Juliet the next most well-known story? Like, Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, both. I think he's the most well-known author. Or
I think Shakespeare is the most well-known writer of all time. I doubt that there's I don't think there's any competition in that regard. I don't think anyone comes fucking close.
No. Yeah. He's got the time against
now,
a lot of people.
I will say, to go just full swing, nobody gets pissed off, nobody misinterprets what I'm saying. Romeo and Juliet is probably the most well-known, universally accepted as fiction story ever.
Yes. I mean, the many other stories that are very fantastical, very, Epic of Gilgamesh. That's even older than the Bible there. I mean, many stories, grand stories that, are dangerous to call them stories. But that's not what I mean. But yeah, this he just sat down and was like, all right, let's,
Greek. Anna was saying we could argue that Greek tragedies predate Shakespeare, and they certainly do. And there are...
Yeah. Okay, yeah, true. But no one story, maybe, I mean, it is the Odyssey. But I mean, it's big, it's Nolan, but like, if the Nolan movie wasn't coming out, it doesn't compare to Romeo and Juliet. Like,
as far as and that is what's interesting about the passage of time, is that my gut tells me to go, are you fucking kidding me? Christopher Nolan is what makes the Odyssey relevant. But as far as modern attention span and modern understanding of ancient texts and old stories, yes, Christopher Nolan is responsible for making the Odyssey relevant to people who would have never otherwise given a shit about the Odyssey. That movie is going to make $1 billion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That movie is going to make $1 billion, and it is an adaptation of a Greek poem. A Greek epic poem, granted, but...
Yeah. And, this... I wonder, was it successful?
Eurydice and Orpheus is also... Eurydice and Orpheus, this is really... So, Anna's in my chat talking about other Greek tragedies that predate Shakespeare, and one of the most foundational ones, Eurydice and Orpheus, which I would argue, yes, they are as impactful as Shakespeare, but not by name. You know what I'm saying? Like... You have to explain, you can't just say Eurydice and Orpheus to anybody and they'll know what you're talking about. Romeo and Juliet, you can say that to anybody and they'll know what you're talking about. Now, you explain Eurydice and Orpheus to people, and I think there does come a little bit more understanding. Joe, this came up a lot when we were talking about Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and because Eurydice and Orpheus is another deeply influential story where Orpheus descended into hell to get his lady. And the cost was that he couldn't look back whenever he was taking her back up to the surface from La Chimera. We discussed this a little bit as well. But, I mean, Hades Town, that song that I just made the Finn edit to, Wait for Me, is an adaptation of Eurydice and Orpheus. It is literally Orpheus singing, wait for me, I'm coming, I'm coming with you. Yeah, so I mean, like, there is that story. I mean, that's as beautiful as anything ever written. For my money, I think it is. I absolutely. Donald Finn singing "Wait for Me" is the most beautiful thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. I saw someone say that he sings like he can change the ending, and that is so fucking good. Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
that is nice.
But
music in this was good. I love me some Radiohead. Actually, that was
written for this movie.
Yeah, and I've heard this before. Ramin Djawadi has a version of it. Oh, I have to probably prove myself. Yes, real quick. But he had a version of it, and I loved that. And so, like, yeah, when I heard it in here, I'm like, what's happening right now? I was like, wait a minute.
They put it on. They put it on their iconic 1997 album, OK Computer.
It just end credits for a film. And I've never just looked up what that film was. I'm like, okay,
this
for
one
a film
that was written for. Like Baz Luhrmann sent it to Radiohead and was like, I need you to do something. And Radiohead was like, on it. You know, fucking God. I also really like Radiohead. I love me some Radiohead, but Tom York is a really, really interesting singer, and vocal artist, and I love his voice. It's very specific, and I don't know why it does it for me, but I like it a lot.
I was introduced to it in a very nice way. My sister's old roommate that she lived with had a incredible vinyl collection, and a really nice
recall.
record label, and I got to house sit for them for like a week, and I was alone, and I just I listened to so many records, and like when I got to the radio, he had a very large Radiohead, Beatles, Flying Lotus. I remember those like three. were kind of just
Flying
massive.
Lotus, goddamn.
Yeah. But man, it made me fall. I fell in love with Radiohead instantly, kind of there. And yeah, so music, that was very nice. In here, I'm trying to think of. I thought it opened with Radiohead maybe as well, or there was one before the credits. It felt like, or maybe I'm misremembering.
Well, there's the last 20 minutes are scored by Radiohead. Like it is all a Radiohead. It's all Radiohead at the end of the movie. But there is and this is something that obviously he would go on to make Moulin Rouge, which is a jukebox musical, and he would go on to adapt The Great Gatsby. And, you know, we've got fucking human beings in a mob. What's a mob to a king? Elvis is very, you know, his anachronistic soundtracks are fucking incredible. I love the way Baz Luhrmann utilizes music. And just the way he figured, oh God, he just knows, he knows what music is required. It's like, you can say whatever you want about James Gunn as a filmmaker, but what that motherfucker knows how to do is drop a fucking needle. You know what I'm saying? That guy will drop a needle and it will be effective.
Yes, he will.
Like, for example, I went and saw Supergirl on Sunday. Really enjoyed Supergirl. I think that if you're going into it expecting anything more than a fun superhero movie, you're a fucking idiot, A. So I'm going to get restricted for bullying here in a second. I already know it. I'm sorry. It's a fun time. It's a really great, it's a great time at the movies, you know, and there's this needle drop that is a cover of The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, that I absolutely love. And I get that, like, I feel like that's going to be like a requirement in James Gunn's DCU, which is just like, you gotta have one, you know, you gotta have one needle drop that just cooks. But dude, yeah, it's a great moment. And it's the young girl who is the like second protagonist of the movie, who she's like, Supergirl's like protecting, and she's like watching Supergirl do Supergirl stuff. And it's this cover of Jimmy Eat World's The Middle by a woman, and it's much more slow. Like, you know, the original is like, it just takes some time, a little bit of love, sometime. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be all right.
Does he ever say L to the L, or is it just everything?
I don't know.
L to the B. Why did
it's everything.
He just says
every little thing is gonna be just fine.
That changes the song into L to the L is what I've heard my entire life until this
little
right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Regardless, it's a cover of that song by a woman, and I don't have my phone on me because it's right there. I wish I could give that artist credit. Great song, and I've been listening to it on repeat.
Two artists,
but it's a much more slowed version. It's softer, and so it's kind of got that same vibe as the Mr. Terrific needle drop in Superman. Whenever it's like this, like bombastic, like fun song, but like it's kind of fun, like. But this is like, it hits hard because she's just in awe of what Supergirl's doing, and you just hear this like, it just takes some time, a little bit of love.
She's just
sometime,
like just clobbering people in the background.
Be all right. Yeah, and she's just watching as Supergirl does awesome shit. Super fun movie, and I love Millie Alcock. So if I know this is the Romeo and Juliet podcast, but you got to watch Supergirl, because I mean, you brought this up a little bit ago, the kind of campiness of comic book movies, and like the understanding of what you're getting into is kind of important whenever you go into one of those, you know, like, and similar when you are watching a Romeo and Juliet adaptation, you know, you are watching a Shakespeare adaptation. You have to understand that this is what I'm getting into. I signed up for this, you know? So whenever people expect every comic book movie to be The Dark Knight, or the Batman, or any of the good Batman movies. Sorry, you know, like most of them are Fantastic Four. And that's okay. You know, like that's why they exist. That's the fun part of them, you know? What do I know?
A guy like Nolan, kind of, wow, it's just kind of Nolan and Matt Reeves for the superhero movies. They just kind of did something different, and maybe it is just the fact that they exist makes you.
I would love to see a Luhrmann superhero movie.
Whoa!
What superhero would you like to see a Baz Luhrmann movie of? Now that's a fun concept.
Who's very? I mean, he loves Leo. I guess Gatsby in this, but I wouldn't really expect Leo to be the actor for his style, or kind of fast and
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I don't know why Kit Harington is the only actor.
The actor is who you're thinking of?
He's the actor that's coming to my head. But that a superhero movie from him would be. James Gunn could get on that. You know,
I think he could. I think he could make it happen. That's one of those things where I'm like, a DC superhero Baz Luhrmann adapts. I think he could have fun. I'm trying to think of, you know,
the Bazman. It's a parody movie of the Batman, and he just has a fun time. He just goes balls to the wall and whatever. You know, imagine Tommy Lee. Is it Tommy Lee Jones who plays the Two-Face in with Jim Carrey back in Batman Forever? Like that. Those kind of that campiness, but Baz Luhrmannified.
That could be fun. That'd be fun. That sort of Joel Schumacher 90s Batman energy. I would love to see that. But Anna pointed out another really, really great modern adaptation of not a great movie, but one of the ones that you're like, oh shit, that's a Shakespeare adaptation. Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney rom-com is an adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. That's Much to Do about it. I'm like, I've never heard.
Yeah,
that.
not Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. Or that it was adapted from.
It's a Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado About Nothing. Okay.
Much Ado, ADO.
Old English. It's messing with my brain, man. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch. I was. Old English, talk about Old English and cats. If assuming that didn't seem, I don't know, that's probably the only pet you got in there, but was speaking. Yeah. Cats just feel ancient, and so I was.
Oh yeah, they are.
They did. It did. I was speaking old ancient speak to a cat, but not in this way. No thou, no thy, no.
Straight Egyptian.
It's so proper. Yeah, even the dumber guys, I don't want to dilute them down to that, but like they were speaking so
like that. No, they're spitting. Well, and that's what reminds you, like, I love actors for that reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy got cast in that role in that type of way because that's the way Baz Luhrmann wanted to write it. And so he made him Cuz, you know, like they use the modern version of Cuz, even though it was written cousin. And I love that. Okay, Jakey. Yeah. Jakey has a question. I'm open to your question, Jakey. If you'd like to spit it, welcome.
To even ask a question. Okay, wow.
Yes, it says, okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm. You can just ask it.
You can just ask. It's okay, Jakey.
That's okay. But yeah,
it looks like Jakey has a. Is that a? It's very small on my screen. Is that a Kit Harington, Jon Snow? Yeah, that is a Jon Snow profile pic. I do love to see that. I do love to see that. I love my boy Egon.
Yeah, or Kit Harington was. Don't be careful. Spoilers for the ones.
I know. I got. Yeah.
But
the goat. Okay, what's your question, Jakey?
Just gonna leave us on a cliffhanger.
I'm waiting with bated breath, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Gimme. Grimmy sniffing around in here. Jakey, in the meantime, okay. Oh, he says he thinks TikTok is blocking it out because I cannot see the question. I think he thinks he already asked it.
It's that good of one.
But yeah.
It can't be let out.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely blocking it, Jakey. It must be, you might have to find a way around some sort of filter or censor, because I have not seen it, and he says he sent it twice. Sorry, Jakey. Your question might have to go unanswered. Just know that in my heart of hearts, I answered, and it was a great answer.
I loved the question.
It was the best answer you've ever heard. And frankly, it was a fantastic question. A great question lends itself to great answers, Jakey. You get it. Anna now has a question. Anna, pose your question, Anna.
She's going to leave us on a cliffhanger, too.
Guys, for those listening, wherever they might be listening, Apple or Spotify or YouTube or whatever, just know you could be having a lot of fun on the TikTok live with us and Anna and Jakey, who unfortunately is having a tough time getting his question answered because TikTok's censoring his shit. So we don't love that. We don't love that. But me and Joe get to see each other this way, and that's fun. We haven't been able to see each other in a while. Favorite Shakespeare play? That was Anna's question. It's a tougher question. Mostly because I'm not nearly as well versed in Shakespeare as I should like to be. And because I am a romantic,
Romeo and Juliet.
I was gonna say, because I am a romantic at heart, Romeo and Juliet does a lot for me. But oh goddamn, he's written a lot of really good stuff. Hamlet's pretty fucking good. I know that the to be or not to be, that's obviously been done into the ground. But the reason it's been done into the ground is because it is fucking brilliant. It is an unbelievable monologue, and it was obviously most recently on screen recited in Hamnet, the adaptation of the book Hamnet, which is about the writing of Hamlet.
It's so good that you even have to make a movie about the writing of it. I mean, yeah, it's like
Hamlet, that soliloquy, to be or not to be, that is the question, is about the best thing I've ever seen, I've ever read. You know, like, it is. And to see a couple of my favorite performances of it, it's not an original take by me, because again, I'm not well versed in Shakespeare, so I've only ever seen videos of people performing it. I haven't sought out Hamlet adaptations or anything like that. Paul Mescal in Hamnet reciting to be or not to be, the to be or not to be soliloquy is fucking amazing. Then the other one is Andrew Scott, who starred opposite Paul Mescal in All of Us Strangers. Yes. Okay. You should look up, like, those are the kinds of performances that make you understand what the fuck Shakespeare was writing. You know, like, it's the kind of stuff that makes you realize, oh, that's what this is about. Like, and that's so incredible that I could read something on paper and go, this doesn't mean anything to me. And then I can watch the absolute pain. Benedict Cumberbatch, I forgot about Benedict Cumberbatch also has a great to be or not to be soliloquy. God, it's to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of deprised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might quietest make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country for whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience doth make us cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. What an unbelievable piece of writing.
I mean, even you reading that, though, it's still in the Old English way, but that was, maybe it's just you're speaking it matter of fact, but it was so much easier to understand than Romeo and Juliet. Like, I feel that was almost normal speak to a degree. And I think that is and I'm not doing this any justice for the record. But that is why it is easier to hear Shakespeare than read Shakespeare. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I could just sit back and think of, I didn't have that barrier of reading the subtitles or everything.
Yeah, you can imagine it being said any way you want when you read it, but if you don't have the level of entry to go, oh, this is what the tone is. You know, it can be difficult. It can absolutely, it will be difficult, I should say. It's not it can be, you know. I don't think if anybody has been born blessed enough to be like, I know exactly what the fuck Shakespeare was talking about. Good on you, you know. Yeah. But, Shakespeare was a playwright, and, Anna says, LOL me. Yeah, I believe you, Anna. You're incredibly intelligent. Did
you say that's the rub at one point,
yes,
very early on?
Yes, I did.
That might be the one line that was like, that's kind of funny. That was like the rub. That's the grit, or that's the friction.
Yeah, that's what grates. Yeah, that's the rub.
The rub. I don't know. That was the one part that felt too modern. That was like, no, did they actually say that? But yeah, that's I like it. That's the rub. I think that the one part that we got to bring back, the rub. But no, that I don't know.
Got to bring back the rub. Somebody bring back the rub, please.
Maybe Hamlet is just written like it is just that much. Not better of a story, but that monologue is just written so well that it does just the ideas transfer maybe a little easier or something there. But yeah, that was my only struggle with the movie, and I think largely I came off as negative towards it. But like, I mean,
it's a level of entry thing. Yeah, it's difficult to get behind, and I don't think that I wouldn't fault you for that. And that's the other thing too, is that like, not liking something is,
it's okay.
Or not connecting with not connecting with something isn't incorrect. But
it felt like I was almost there, which might have been the only annoying part, is that like, ooh, it's like, just make me cry, or just
the movie was just edging you,
like
emotionally.
Yes, but I just never quite got there.
Quite came,
never came. But that's okay.
The tears, that is, they never came. Yeah,
It happens. But yeah, I mean, it's still largely negative review, I think, on my part, but not a bad movie or not. Yeah,
very interesting, very big swing, and I really, really love that about it. But I think we can conclude this episode on Romeo and Juliet. You know, like we said before we officially started the episode, and we're just talking on the TikTok Live, we can't add a lot of new discussion to something that has been talked about for centuries. But I do love, I love an adaptation. I'm a sucker for an adaptation. And if you weren't on the TikTok Live, you missed out. We had a lot of fun in here tonight. This was some of the most interaction we've had with multiple people. Anna is, down to ride. We talk with Anna a lot when it comes to our House of the Dragon coverage over on Geek With Me. But yeah, we love doing this, so we're gonna keep doing it. And you ought to just follow on TikTok. Look up at Coro Bloom. Look up Colton Robertson. Look up Joseph George. You follow us. I post on my story whenever the day comes around. It's time to go. Sunday nights are going to be a thing for a while because following Geek With Me, following House of the Dragon Lanterns is going to begin. And we talked a lot about the DCU this week, and there's a reason we talked a lot about the DCU. We are going to be watching Lanterns, and we're going to be talking about it Sunday nights after it airs, following House of the Dragon. So I'm very, very excited to keep the ball rolling. And we will be, we'll be there. We'll be here every Sunday, and then, Cinementalists comes out every Friday, but we kind of record it whenever we want. It has happened to be Thursday nights lately. And I don't really see that changing, but, it could. So just follow and check out the stories, and we'll be around. But, yeah, we are also doing Geek With Me, like I said, House of the Dragon right now, Lanterns thereafter. And I cannot wait for that, but, you got to check it out. Beyond that, we're kind of in between things, and it sounds like we're real busy, because we are, but we're trying to find something to follow up on Fire Pod With Me, our Twin Peaks podcast. We've constantly been looking for something that is fitting as a sequel of sorts to Fire Pod With Me, and just nothing is living up to it right now, so it's like, why even fuck with it? So we're not gonna for now, but we are always looking for a TV show to watch or rewatch and cover episode by episode. So, top of the list right now for us is Westworld. It has been. That's one of those things where whenever we get the time, we might go ahead and jump out ahead of it. But, if you have any Shogun, Anna brought up Shogun, would be a cool one. The only problem with it is that it would last us 10 episodes right now. Like we're talking about a show that has come and gone, that has concluded, would be ideal for that format. Shogun, we might consider watching Shogun ahead of season 2 though. And then covering season 2 week by week over on Geek With Me as well. I think that would be interesting. Succession is a good idea as well. We've had a few good ones lofted at us. So, believe me, there will be very, very few you may throw at me that we haven't considered, or thought of. But
Twin Peaks is
Twin Peaks is, we hold that in just in insane esteem. So, committing to a project of that size is hard to do, because that was a 50-week project. That was 50 episodes that we did for Fire Pod With Me. 50 weeks. That's almost a year of our lives that we dedicated to doing that. And that's no easy thing to just kind of decide on a whim that we're going to do, which is what we did with Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones rewatch shows.
Would I do Thrones again? No. Did I love doing it? Yes. Would I do Peaks again? Yes.
Yes.
I would. I don't even care. That's easy.
Anna, it's funny that you bring up 90s TV. That's what we did with Twin Peaks. Largely a 90s television show until season 3, of course, which is 2017. Smallville is something I've always really loved the idea of. The issue I take with Smallville is how long it is. You're talking 20 episode seasons and 9 of them.
Boom.
So that'd be one of those things where, so we're looking for very specific criteria, which is why Westworld is appealing. It's 4 seasons, 10 episodes per, 40 weeks. Like, that's not even as long as the Twin Peaks one was. So it's it's kind of easy that way. But regardless, it takes it. We will get around to a sequel to Fire Pod With Me. We will be doing another television show week by week, something that's come and gone, concluded. So you ought to be on the lookout for that. That just means stick with us, and whenever we do that, we've already talked about this. We think we are going to do it on TikTok Live primarily for a while, and then drop episodes in bunches all at once. I think that would be a fun format to attempt anyway, at the very least. So we'll figure that out. But come on back next week as we will be discussing 2006's Deja Vu, directed by Tony Scott, starring Denzel Washington, who was mentioned multiple times in this episode. Absolutely love that movie. Cannot wait.
John Leguizamo in there. I don't remember him in there, but
I don't remember him in there. Val Kilmer's there. Val Kilmer's there. We love Val Kilmer. But yeah, so we're going to be opening up now with TikTok Live kind of in the cards, and it doing semi well. It's not doing crazy yet, but the amount that you have to dedicate yourself to like being on TikTok in order to succeed at TikTok is wild, and I just do not have the energy for it. So we're just going to keep doing it in the way that we've been doing it, and if we want to, we'll expand it at some point. I'm sure that these things just take a little bit of time, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, you should stick with us. Deja Vu next week. Geek with Me. House of the Dragon ongoing. Stick with us. On a scale of 1 to 10, Romeo and Juliet, how you feeling?
Shakespeare, 10. Luhrmann, oh, there's hesitation. I don't think I
Do
can.
what you want. Give it the 7.
I was almost going to say 8, but I had hesitation, and I can't. But it's more than a 7. It's better than good. This isn't just good. This is better than good. It is almost an 8, so I will give it as close as I can in the 2-5 intervals. I will go 7, 7, 5.
All right. I like that. I like that for you. I'm going to take it a 3/4 of a point higher than that. I'm going to go 8.5. 8.5 out of 10, just for the fun of it. Like I said, it just ages really, really well for me. I think it's given... Anna says I would give it a 9 for Mercutio, and I agree. Harold Perrineau, star of the show. Fucking love Mercutio in this movie.
10. 9 for Mercutio?
10. Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
God damn.
But will age.
Serving
I think it
looks.
can only age well, and it is memorable. I think maybe that's why
and
at first
that's
it's
another
weird, but
yeah,
like,
I think that's why it festers in your brain and go. We didn't even mention that Paul Rudd's in the movie.
True. The astronaut, kind of sick to see him. That was his costume. Yeah. Love Paul Rudd, Kansas City, repping.
Kansas City.
But yeah, like was there anyone? I'm trying to think. A crazy bit
Paul
of trivia
Sorvino,
that I was going to say. The
from
statue of
Goodfellas.
Jesus was 2 feet tall. It was a miniature. That huge, like Rio de Janeiro-esque Jesus,
yeah.
2
the
feet tall.
Christ the Redeemer.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 feet tall the whole time.
Wow.
So that kind of blew my mind a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's what's crazy too about the forced perspective of the real Christ the Redeemer. Also, it's only about 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah, it's just life size, actually.
There's actually just a really,
really
really big magnifying glass right in front of him. It's perfectly clear. Yeah, that's all. That's all that's happening. But no, I think with that we can conclude this episode of Romeo and Juliet. I bite my thumb at you, sir.
Bite your thumb at me? How dare you? I know.
How dare
you
thee.
fucking bite. I'm pulling the strap. Yeah, it's like, what a way to say.
Come around this way, you will get clapped. Yeah, I love that shit. But I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I bite my thumb at Ice. Fuck you, Ice. Let's go.